Conal, how are you feeling after that? Good to get the win and into the semi-final?
Yeah, tough game. We knew they were going to put it up to us, but I think we left a lot out there. We let a lot of mistakes. Around the middle there, we were dropping a lot of balls, and they were really coming hard at us, and it took us a while to really get on top of them. And it really only happened in the last couple of minutes. And fair play to Ballinteer. We knew that was going to happen. There's no easy games in Dublin football really now.
Yeah, it is so competitive, and it has been for a number of years. To get by even to this stage and get into a semi-final, it's not easy.
No, it's not. You've seen all the games last night and everything, and just because the teams in the league might be down the bottom and other teams might be up the top, it's irrelevant when it comes to championship. And Ballinteer just showed it there today. They're a great team, and there's nothing between us really. And I think we were just lucky enough to get a few scores in the end.
A nerve-wracking finish, as you said. They got 2 late goals. Will you be annoyed, I suppose, to concede those 2 late goals when you did?
Yeah, I think disappointed the way I think at least 3 of the goals that they got straight down the middle. I mean, they just had a shot and threw a load of bodies and went in, and that happened at least two times anyway. But look, it's a lot to work on. Look, we're probably a little bit disappointed, which is probably a strange feeling after a win in a quarter-final into a semi-final. But look, an awful lot to work on, and we're just interested to see who we get in the draw now.
Yeah. It looked like up front you looked dangerous every time in attack. Anytime any of the Boden forwards got going, they really have pace. They left the defenders chasing each time. You yourself came on, I think it was about 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes into the second half. Is that the way you'd like it to be coming on in the second half?
No, I think everyone wants to play. I don't want to be coming on at 10 or 15 minutes to go. A big thick head in me there coming on. But look, you just have to do what you have to do. And if it's the best thing for the team for me to come on, maybe that's what the management want. But I'm certainly want to play, and I think everyone wants to play. And I think if you lose that, you might as well give it up.
A thick head because you want to be starting.
Yeah, nobody trains and wants to be a sub. Really, I never want to be a sub. So hopefully I just put my hand up there again, and it'll give the lads a few questions maybe coming into a semi-final and see how that goes.
Yeah, you absolutely did. You scored 2 late points when they probably needed you most. It was very nerve-wracking coming near the end, and you were trying to hold on. You scored 2 late points, 1 sideline, 1 outrageous sideline. Talk to us about that.
Well, that's one of those ones. I'd say if I was playing the whole game, I probably would have hit it short, but I was like, look, I've nothing to lose here, I might as well go for it. And I think that was near the end of the game anyway, so I was just concentrating and make sure it didn't drop into the keeper's hands, and look, it just went over, and it was a nice score to get at a crucial time, yeah.
And Michael Darragh-Macaulay, he came on, I think it was just before you as well. So I suppose having that experience is massive coming off the bench.
Yeah, no, it is. It makes a big difference, having fresh legs. I suppose Mick to come on with his experience, and he just showed it in the end there. He leaped up and caught a ball that was being floated in, and all they needed was a little flick to get a goal, and that's what Mick's all about. He puts his heart and soul into it. Again, Mick's the same. He wants to play. Everyone wants to play, and how do you do that? You train hard and you play well when you get your chance. And let's see what happens for a semi-final. Maybe they won't pick us again, but I hope they do.
And what's it like commitment-wise for a club? I know a lot of people know, but some don't actually know how much goes into the club scene. It's very full on.
There's not much difference between our senior setup being a hurling or football or inter-county setup. There's days when you have to go for meetings, there's days when you have to go do a gym session or recovery, so it's all pretty much the same. Okay, maybe the level mightn't be as standard, it mightn't be as high, but the commitment level of the players is second to none, and especially in Ballyboden, it's not people take it for granted that you have to be at every training session, and that's just the way it is. And if you're not there, you're questioned by the players, not the management. I think a lot of senior clubs around the country are the exact same. Everyone has pushed it on between strength and condition and nutrition and everything else that goes with it. And I think it's only good for the game, and maybe the split season kind of helps that now.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about the split season. You're a fan of it?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. I think the jury's still out a little bit. Look, it is nice to know when you're playing with the club and to be playing in decent kind of weather. Usually you're playing in October, November, and maybe that's why I'm not playing. Maybe that kind of suits me, the slow game, and wet pitches and heavy going. But no, look, I'm not sure. I think we'll leave that off until maybe the end of the season to make a real call on it. But at the moment, it's great for the club player anyway.
And you are a dual player as well, so you're playing hurling as well?
Yeah, so we have a quarter final next Sunday against Lucan. So we were beaten by Coola last weekend, which was disappointing. But look, a lot to learn and a lot to do this week to get right for a massive challenge against Lucan. They gave us an awful hiding a couple of weeks ago in a league final, so it's we'll be up against it. But look, we'll be here next week anyway and give it a go.
And how do you balance both, and I suppose getting those recovery sessions in, knowing when to train, when not to train, to listen to your body, all of that. I'm sure you have a lot of experience at it now.
Yeah, look, it is tough. I think the toughest thing is probably trying to juggle managements, you know. Because some managers want you to train and some managers don't want you to train. And look, I think dual players in Ballyboden like myself and Stephen Heine and a few of us, we've been there for years, so we've always just done nearly what we feel is the best thing to perform on the Sunday, regardless if you train during the week or you don't train or how it is. But I suppose the older I get, and I'm very conscious that I have to train to make sure that I'm going to be playing, and if I don't train, someone else is going to be playing. So it's just important. The days that I rest, I try and get as much rest as I can and eat right, and like everyone else, I just have to and pray I don't get an injury, because it takes a long time to recover from an injury, and touch wood, I haven't got any injuries so far. So roll on next week, another day out.
Yeah, well, watching out there today, you definitely look like you're flying, and you do have a big birthday coming up. You're not going to like me for this, but you do have a very big birthday coming up next week. But it's testament to you to still be out doing what you're doing at this level. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not the only one around this kind of an age to be playing. But everyone making a big deal out of it. But look, bottom line is age is irrelevant. I want to play. If I'm good enough to play, I want to start. If I'm not good enough to start, I'm not good enough. But I'm certainly going to make it very hard for the management to not pick me.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Kenny, job done through to the semi-final. Were you happy with the performance out there today?
Yeah, I thought first we kind of played in patches. Like, we didn't start great. They obviously got the penalty and did a good start. But then after that, we I think we got it to 1-6, and we played really well. And then, they came back into it again. So it was just patchy. Like, we didn't play for the 60 minutes. But in passages of play, I thought we were really good, and then in other passages we weren't good at all. So it was mixed bag.
Yeah, watching on, it did look like at times you were going to kick on, and this was going to be a thrashing nearly in the first half. But then they sort of came back into it, and they kicked on with another few scores. So yeah. I get what you mean, that in passage of play you played well.
Yeah, like they. Well, especially in the second half, like they got that goal from the high ball, and they got a lot of energy from it, and they kicked on and got the second one, and then I always kind of felt we were comfortable, but then they were right back in, and we had the ball cleared off the line near the end. So that was, it was a bit of a wake-up call for us now in terms of looking to a semi-final. But we'll there is room for improvement for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last few minutes there, it must have been nerve-wracking on the sideline. They got 2 late goals, and it brought it back to a 3-point game.
Yeah, it was. It was nerve-wracking. Especially, I think Declan O'Mahony cleared one off the line, and then Keaney did well there towards the end. He kind of settled us with a few great scores, and the sideline was class. So that was there was loads of positives for us as well, and there's great strength in the panel, great competition for places. So hopefully that'll be important now for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Like, having that strength coming off the bench and the experience of Michael Darragh-McCauley, as you said, Conal Keaney, he got 2 late scores. When you needed him most, he stepped up and he took that sideline here. Yeah. It was an outrageous score.
Yeah, we were. He had a nice win behind him. Now we were
giving him nothing.
Well, I'm a left footer as well, but I would have put money on him to score it. He can do that. And he's. He's a special player for us. So we're delighted to have him.
I was speaking to him just a few moments ago, and he was telling me next week he's turning 40 years of age. Well, he didn't tell me that. Now he tried to keep it on the down low. I told him that I knew, and he said, he's obviously still doing it, but he wants to be out there. He wants to be playing, and he's enjoying a sport.
Yeah, he's so competitive. He's got all the talent, and loads of lads have that, but he wants it, and. He wants to play, and he's one of the main players in the hurling team as well. So it's just phenomenal. He keeps doing it. So. Yeah.
And for you as a manager, how do you manage the dual player? Because that's something that comes up time and time again, especially through the club championship. It's tough to be going out playing, championship game in, game out, and then to be performing at both. Do you talk to the hurling manager?
Yeah, we do. We've a good relationship. It's fairly straightforward. It's every second week hurling and football. So when it's a hurling week, they go hurling. When it's football, they go playing football, and it's the only way you can do it. But we have Paddy Dunleavy, Hugh O'Sullivan as well, is a very talented footballer and hurler, and Owen Behan. So there's 4 or 5 lads there, but it's hard to combine the two. But they're good lads. They're talented guys. So it's tough.
It is tough, absolutely, and you're doing well at the moment. You won't know who you get in the semi-final until the draw's done, and obviously after the game here today.
Yeah, the draw's on. I think it's straight after this. So like, I mean, when you get to a semi-final, you're going to be playing a good team, and you, like I was just saying earlier, like, you know, all of the quarterfinals already have been really close. So like, I mean, Whitehall ran Nafina to a point. Coola were very good last night against Kilmacud. So, you know, it's a good championship. It's a good standard. So like, I don't really mind who we get in the semi-final.
It's extremely competitive in the Dublin Championship. You don't know who's going to come out on top. It's just that strong.
Yeah, it is, and that's why it's such a good competition. Like, you see in other counties, like certain teams just dominate for winning 6, 7 in a row. Like, it's very hard to win 2 in a row in Dublin, you know. So it's a good competition.
And you've been there, you've done it, you did it as a player, and now you're back in management. How are you finding it?
There's a huge amount of people in with me, like, you know, so it's not like, you know, I think people have this perception that the manager, you know, is doing everything, but there's so many people involved, like, you know, and, you know, Yander Kearns, Martin Marston, Cormac Smith, Dara Walsh, like, they're the main selectors, but there's a whole load of other people involved as well. So it's, you know, it's a lot of people volunteering their time for the benefit of the group, and we're just trying to get the best out of them. Yeah.
And what do you prefer, being on the sideline or on the pitch? What's easier?
Everyone wants to play. Look at Conal Keaney, you know, yeah, like, I mean, like, being involved in management or coaching, it's just about giving something back to the players. No, playing is where you want to be, you know, but those days are gone. Yeah.
Brilliant, Kenny. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
David, hard luck out there. A brilliant performance by Ballinteer. You've really fought to the end, and it was a really nerve-wracking finish for Ballyboden.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we kind of let them get ahead of us there at the start of the second half. 2 goals, really pulled it out. But in fairness to the lads, they just kept going. Dragged 2 goals back. We were a bit unlucky there at the end. I thought maybe we deserved a 45, we didn't get it. But look, we ended up going down to 14 men with injuries, so you can't really ask much more from the lads than that.
No, and you had a brilliant performance yourself. You got the last goal and the 45 came off. I think the other player, you had kicked it, it came off him. Yeah. I think it was a 45 in fairness. And yeah, you really kept going and battling to the very end. Some of the runs you made from defence were crucial, you know, setting those scores up inside.
Yeah, well, look, we kind of know, like, we have powerful punch runners. It's not just me, there's own fits out there as well. There's Liam Fenton when he came in there. Like, there's lots of big, powerful runners there. And like, we've designed our game to kind of use that. Bit disappointing now where we didn't get a few extra scores. There was 1 or 2 opportunities, but look, we'll learn from that. That's our first quarter final in 19 years. We can only get better from here. So many young fellas coming through, like the likes of Luke Brannock, Liam Fenton, Jack Lundy there in number 11. We've so many young fellas coming up.
And that's brilliant to see. That's what you want, isn't it? Those lads starting, coming off the bench, making their impact.
100%. I think we had 5 Dublin 20s this year. Brilliant. We're hoping to have another 3 or 4 again next year. There's a couple of lads who got no injury luck at all this year. The Cullen twins, Johnny Quirk, the lads who've been involved in Dublin teams and barely played a minute this year. So we're expecting them to come in next year and push us on again. It's
nice to feel like that at the end of the game, to be looking to next year already and staying positive about things. But I know at the same time it's quite raw now and it's tough to take. Yeah, very raw, but we need to get back in and train now next week or 2 because we're still not safe in the league. So we have to get back on the pitch, sort ourselves out, get ourselves secure Division 1 status next year, and then go from there. I don't really think Division 2 is where we want to be. We want to be in Division 1, pushing. And like, it's great for the old lads like myself, Nick, DK. Like, we're not going to be here much longer, but those young lads coming in, that keeps you going. That once you come back year on year out. And when you're saying there you're not going to be here much longer, or how many years you've left playing, but isn't that maybe the tougher thing about it, that you don't know, and you're out in quarterfinals and you're thinking to yourself, when are these coming around again? Yeah, well, I've been playing senior football, I think 13 years now. That's my first one. So they're hard. They're very, very hard come by. We know that. We appreciate the game we got today, but we want more. We don't think we're a quarter-final team. We see ourselves as being a top team in Dublin in the years to come. And the Dublin Championship, it's just so competitive. You know, in every league, senior, intermediate, it's really tough to make your mark in it. Yeah, look, there's so many good teams out there. Like Bowden have been there, done that. Crokes, Nafina are thereabouts. Jude's year in, year out. Ballymun, Vincent's, take your pick. I know Vincent's are in senior 2 this year, but expect them to come back up. There's so many good teams up there. And just to give people a little bit of an insight of what it's like in the club scene, what is the commitment like, and I suppose what level of training goes in? Yeah, well, like, look, you want lads in the gym 2 or 3 times a week, but you can kind of look after that yourself. But you're on the pitch at least 3 times a week. You're expecting lads to look after themselves. Like, look, it's still an amateur sport. You have to be out there enjoying yourselves. You can't forgo nights out. You still have to go out with the girlfriends and all that. But
you still expect a certain level of fitness from everyone. And I know that's probably something we need to push on again. I think Boden out there today really kind of showed us the level of fitness we need to get to. So that will be one of the goals next year.
That's brilliant, Dave. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thanks very much.